Thank you for joining us today, Sandra. Go ahead and please introduce yourself, your name, major, any minors, and pre-professional tracks if you have any in mind, and what school you go to.
Okay, I'm Sandra Tang, a sophomore, rising sophomore at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and I am majoring in course 6-3, which is computer science and engineering, minoring in design under the architecture department, and concentrating in Chinese.
Oh, wow. That's a very elaborate field of study there. To start us off, what made you exactly choose your major?
I've liked computer science for a while. I started coding in middle school and it was just for fun at first, but then later on I realized a lot of people liked what I did and I also enjoyed the process, the
Yeah.
like not only creating but also planning because it really allowed me to be creative and find my own personal solutions to things.
Mm-hmm.
So around 10th grade I realized, maybe I should, instead of having this just be a hobby, I should turn this into my major, and I continued pursuing it and I've still liked it even though it's been frustrating at times. So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
a good sign that I should major in this and work on it like for the rest of my life.
Oh, wow. It's wonderful that you were able to find something that even though like sometimes you get frustrated, you still want to continue and do it. What about the minors that you chose and like the concentration? Could you talk about those a little?
Oh yeah. So in high school I was pretty split on whether I should major in like my STEM
Mm-hmm.
passions or my humanities passions,
Mm-hmm.
which so computer science versus design, but I realized design is more of like a hobby thing, and um I I wanted to be like more financially secure,
Mm-hmm.
so I decided to choose the safer route, computer science,
Yeah.
and also that I could just like do for hours on end. Design, I also really liked it, but I decided maybe it would take like a lesser importance in my academic career. And as for my concentration in Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to really know my like own culture's like language and be
Yeah.
able to talk to relatives well.
Yeah, that sounds like a good balance of things. Like you have your stability, interest, and like the cultural side going on.
Mhm.
All right, going back to the college application process, how did you feel about the process, just
Um,
personally?
it was very stressful. I lost some weight during it.
Oh my God, I feel. Um, how did you get information about schools and like the general application process?
um, I got a lot of my information from online, talking to older siblings and friends and
Mm-hmm.
like upperclassmen. I'd
Mm-hmm.
say like the most helpful thing for me was Questbridge because I applied
Mm-hmm.
for the Questbridge College Prep Scholars program in the end of junior year. So like that summer leading into senior year of high school, I got like mentorship and a lot of information about the college process, and also attended a conference on the college application process at Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How'd
and
you find out about Questbridge? I think because we were friends in high school, we kind of talked about it, but
oh yeah,
like I didn't know anyone else who used the program.
mm. Yeah, I got an email in my promotions inbox, and it was like, "Do you want free money?" I was like, "Huh, it's a little suspicious." But I talked to my English teacher, Mr. Aldridge, about it, and he actually had some past students who did it, so I knew it wasn't. It was. I knew it was trustworthy through that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, cool. So through Questbridge, you were able to gain a lot of like just information about the process in general, and that's what helped you along the way, mostly. Is that correct?
Sorry, can you repeat that? The internet.
Oh yeah. So through Questbridge, you were able to gain a lot of like insight and information from other students, and so it's just like a program that's available for anyone, or is it? Are there any specifics to um, reaching out to this program, or are you just supposed to like wait for an email?
Um, so to get the like benefits from it, you have to apply. So the CPS application, it's sort of like an easier college application, and like my year is like 34% acceptance, but it's been going down lately as the program has been like growing and like spreading word of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the website itself has some like good articles about it.
Mm-hmm.
So even if people aren't qualified for it or don't get in, that can help too.
So you just apply and like get involved that way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you end up visiting any colleges before or after applying to the schools?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I I visited some UCs just because they were like near me, and I also went
Mm-hmm.
to Stanford and Berkeley on a trip when I went to the Stanford conference. Um, Other than that, I didn't go like out of state for any colleges except for ones that like I had already gotten into just like for
Mm-hmm.
the visiting and deciding which one I wanted to attend.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the application process, how would you rate the overall difficulty of the process?
I think it depends on like each college or each application.
Mm-hmm.
So the UC application, um, it wasn't it was like kind of easy because I had already written the essays um for early applications, so I just shortened them for that. But for um the early applications, it was a very big time crunch because I applied to 4 schools early action.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I also was like tweaking my main big essay, like the biological one.
Do
That
you
was
mean
a
like
lot.
the Common App, like the personal statement essay, or like what do you?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So basically I did a special like application. So then in roughly what like September, you apply to the Questbridge like finalist program, a national college match. And that in itself is like sort of like a small college application style kind of thing. So then you write your big essay for that, and then that big essay is due earlier than the supplemental essays for the colleges that you apply EA to. So they all receive that big essay as well as some other smaller essays from the
Mm-hmm.
Questbridge application. And then they also can ask for more essays.
That's a significant amount of essays. So that was like what, early September that you had to do those by, or
Um,
was it even earlier?
I think it was, wait, it was due in September. The big essay was,
Mm-hmm.
well, Questbridge application was due in September. And then the supplemental essays that are specific to each college that you apply to early are
Mm-hmm.
due in um, October, mid to late October.
Oh wow. So speaking of the college application process specifically, would you, if you could pinpoint like a specific hardest part of the process and like an easiest part of the process, what would you say it is?
I'd say the hardest part would be the essays.
Mm-hmm.
And the easiest part is probably just like the automated things that you already know,
Mm-hmm.
just like putting in your grades and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And if you could have changed anything about the process, like what would you have done differently?
Hmm. I don't know a solution for this, but I know like just from like being on the other side for
Mm-hmm.
programs before, reading the essays and like sort of like quantifying their answers and so that
Yeah.
you can like make students comparable to figure out who gets in and who goes on the wait list or is rejected.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to compare students and there's a lot of bias based on like who you've read early in the earlier part when you're more easy to impress and like who you whose essays you've read towards the end of the application when you've already seen everything and you're not as easily impressed.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. All right, going back to your school, how and why did you decide to go to MIT?
I decided to choose MIT over all the other schools that I got into because I really like the people, the environment. So they're both, MIT has a very work hard, play hard kind of mentality where everyone works very hard on academics. They truly care about it, and it's like they're pretty nerdy. Like
Yeah.
they're very accepting. Um, but at the same time, when we have free time on weekends and stuff, like people go all out, and they're always very down to do things and like very fun. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things on campus, like something for everyone, something for
Mm-hmm.
all the interests. um, oh, also they were like the number one school for my major, so that was pretty good
Mm-hmm.
too.
That's really great. Do you have any advice for people getting used to a new place and making new friends with different backgrounds?
So the town I came from, Arcadia, is I'd say it's roughly like somewhat homogenous in
Mm-hmm.
ideas. Um, so coming to college, there were a lot more different types of people, like
Yeah,
different beliefs, and they all came from different backgrounds.
yeah.
So I came to realize that like they people might think differently, and they have a good reason. So um, I think getting used to like a different environment and meeting more people, it's important to talk to a lot of them and like have a very open mind
Mm-hmm.
and be willing to learn from them.
Yeah, because everyone's experience is valid and like there's always
Mhm.
like another sided perspective. So
Exactly.
I
It's
totally agree.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, what are your class sizes like at MIT? Do you personally prefer like smaller or larger class size environments?
I think I don't think I have a preference. Like
Mm-hmm.
both have advantages. So I my class sizes covered a very large range. So I as a freshman I took some very big classes because they were like the intro classes. There could be up to like 300, 400 students in one lecture. But at the same time, I was in a academic, um, an advising group. And it was special because we like could take special classes that were only for students in that group. So some of my classes would have like 30 kids. And that was pretty good for like having discussions and everyone getting a chance to speak, and
Mm-hmm.
you could also talk to the professor more. Um, yeah,
So,
I like both of them.
so is every student placed in a discussion group, or did you just have an? Oh, okay, I see. Do you have any experiences with lab classes or?
I no wet lab, but I did have like computer science lab classes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see, I took one called Fundamentals of Programming, and we'd have to complete a lab every week. Uh, the we had like very extensive office hours to do that. Where there was like always a lot of like undergraduate assistants willing to help.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Um, what was something that you got to do in college you weren't able to do back in your high school or hometown?
Oh, so many things. I can't just pinpoint one.
If you could pick like your top one, like what would it be?
um, I don't know. Probably something to do with like socializing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't go out that much back like when I was in grade school, but now that I'm in college, like you can just like go out with your friends, spend a lot of time together. Like friendships grow close very fast because you're
Mm-hmm.
just always together.
Yeah, I feel. Oh, what was your experience of living in a dorm like for you?
Oh, it was very good. So I live in a dorm called McGregor House, H
Mm-hmm.
entry. We are suite style, so we have 8 people per suite. It is a cook for yourself dorm, so I opted not to have a meal plan my first semester, and I
Mm-hmm.
either cooked for myself, went out and ate, or lived off the free food, the bountiful
So,
free food that's everywhere on campus. Cooked for
wait,
myself and
could
learned how to
you
meal
could
plan
you
and
repeat
grocery
that?
shop.
Like you lagged a little bit. Do you
Oh,
mind
sorry.
repeating that? Um, do you mind repeating that? You lagged a little bit.
Oh, yeah, sure. Um, so cooking for myself, it was kind of hard at first
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have any experience with grocery shopping, meal planning, and like, figuring out how to spread out the ingredients of your stuff.
Yeah.
So I talked to some upperclassmen and they really helped me. And also just like experience helped me figure out how to feed myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it for dorms.
Did you
Specific
live
dorms.
with like all first years or what was it like?
Oh no, it was like all grades.
Oh wow. So the person you dormed with, like, did you live in a single or
Oh
uh
yeah. I lived in a single, but
mhm,
I was still in a suite, so there was a little bit of coordination still. It was very
mhm.
cute. We were a family.
Aw. Did you know all these people before or did you just meet them there? Like,
Oh no, I did not know them. Well, some of my like close friends that I met while we were visiting were in
mhm.
the dorm, but not in my suite. But it
Oh,
was still nice to have someone that I knew very close by.
wow. Um, what are some extracurriculars that you're participating in?
Oh, let's see. I participated in Technique,
Mhm.
which is the yearbook organization for MIT, and I was the junior man board publicity chair. Basically, I was like the publicity chair in training.
Interesting.
Mhm. And then I was also in Asian dance team. I did hip
Hmm.
hop. Yeah, that was really fun. Oh, sorry, I have to cough for
Go ahead.
a second. um, I also participated in Chinese Student Club. It was just like a lot of cultural things,
Hmm.
lots of good food and performances, just like bonding with fellow students.
Hmm.
And I also was the chair, like I was in dorm government
Hmm.
spring semester. So I was the chair for my section of the entry. So that's like roughly 44 people that I looked over. And we also made decisions for the entire dorm as a whole.
Hmm. What were those experiences like for you, and like what would you recommend for incoming students to do?
Um, so my positions were roughly
Hmm.
like relatively like pretty chill. I didn't do anything that was too super like committed because yeah, I'm just a freshman. So I was thinking of like
Yeah.
I decided to use this year mainly to like get used to college.
Hmm.
Um so let's see. Chinese Student Club, I'm just a member. So
Hmm.
that was just like fun, like bonding, socializing.
Yeah.
Asian dance team was also like partially socializing. But
Hmm.
also I really wanted to try dancing for my first time.
Hmm.
So it was just a weekly commitment and we had a show at the very end.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was more of an exploring thing. And then technique was low-key also low commitment. Just because of my position.
Hmm.
I just like sent emails and coordinated with the design department um,
Hmm.
to like create ads and send them out.
Hmm.
For H entry chair, that one was my largest time commitment. I
Hmm.
would have to meet weekly and um have meet weekly for like just meetings with the dorm, and then additionally we had some special meetings once a month, and then also just talking about like we had before like my dorm entry like did not manage their money that well,
Yeah.
um or like a lot of things were there were a lot on the to-do list just because of some like complicated things in the past, so
Hmm.
we were really trying to fix things up and get everything back on track.
That
um
makes sense.
mhm.
Uh, what would you say is was your biggest struggle coming into college, and do you believe you've overcome it?
Adulting wise, it would be feeding myself, learning how to
Hmm.
cook, and like meal plan.
Yeah.
Academically, it was physics class. It was my teacher's first year teaching, so
Yeah, that's
and
okay.
also physics is just not my subject.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Do you have any plans after undergrad?
Um, it's not solid so far. So my two plans are either to just like graduate and get a job, or MIT has a special master's degree program for computer
Mm-hmm.
science majors where you get a you get a bachelor's and a master's in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
um and you have to have like certain requirements, so I'm trying to hit those requirements just in case I want to pursue that like um yeah, that special program. It's like 4
Mhm.
years bachelor's, 1 year's master's, or 3.5 years bachelor's, 1.5 master's.
Yeah, that's really cool. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
um, if you could give advice to high school students, what would it be? This is just our last final question, wrapping things up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my advice would be explore, find out what you like, find out something that you like so much that you would work very hard to pursue it. Um,
Yeah.
and once you figure out something that you have a passion for, that you're very interested in, go
Mhm.
full send. Work very hard at it and pursue it as far as you can.
All right, you've heard it from Sandra. Go full send, figure out what you like, and go for things. All right, thank you for joining us here today, Sandra.
Oh, yeah, of course.